In this video, we're going to cover one of the simplest ways any player can become more press resistant and deal with pressure from behind. Players like Messi and Hazard seem untouchable when they receive the ball, even with pressure from behind. But there is one thing I'm going to show you in this video via a recent session I had with a pro that you can instantly add to your game. If you haven't been coached properly in what to do when you've got heavy pressure from behind, you probably panic a lot of the time. So this simple fix will help massively. And it's all to do with the angle of your first touch. From an engagement point of view, I should say something like, wait till the end of the video where we'll reveal this simple fix. But we're gonna get right into it because it's far from the only gem you're going to pick up in this video. The session we're going to cover is with Alex, a pro striker, but don't worry, this video will help everybody. As we see midfielders such as Messi and Hazard dealing with pressure from behind with ease, using the exact same method we're going to cover.
Right, if the ball comes into me and I receive the ball backwards here and then you come up here, or then go back. If your first touch can be a bit on an angle, ball comes here, where do you now go? You come here. So now do you see it's easier for me to now bait this way? Yeah. So a lot of the time with your first touch, if you're taking it directly backwards, it's way harder for yourself because you can't read where this player's coming. You see, I don't know if you're coming that way or that way.
We see it in game with Alex here. A habit she had was touching it directly backwards. And as we see, she nearly lost the ball, mostly because she couldn't relax and assess what's going on around her, as she didn't know how much time she had on the ball. Also, just note, sometimes you have to take it directly backwards, as you may not have the room to go diagonally backwards. But just knowing how it affects the defender and your visibility of them is what I'm trying to teach you. So don't think it's wrong to touch the ball directly backwards, as again, sometimes you'll have to.
But if I already want to bait you, I can just go here. Firstly, I already know you're going to be coming here because you have to run goal side.
An in-game example with Messi here, who does it all the time. The angled backwards touch helps Messi predict the defender will run this way around, as he has to run goal side here.
Secondly, can you see my body position? You see I'm side on now, naturally because of my touch, and I can already see you, and I can do this.
For example, Hazard with a diagonally backwards touch, and it helps him get just that little bit more side on. He can now see him field more and the defender in the corner of his eye.
Whereas my touch is backwards, I'm having to go like this, I have no idea. Whilst I'm doing this, I don't know what's happening to the pitch. So that tiny detail, it will really help. Just have a little practice of it yourself, just so you can actually feel the difference. So just touch it directly backwards. So you see how you have no idea, right? And you're concentrating on me and you can't see anything that's happening over there. And then bring it back and then just diagonally backwards that way. So not too much though, because then I can just come here.
Especially if you have heavy pressure from behind, a touch that's too horizontal across the pitch could be risky, as the ball is now vulnerable for a poke away. Remember, if you touch the ball diagonally backwards, it can be a little more vulnerable than if you touch it straight back.
So it wants to be more like on this, because you still want to come away from me as well. Yes. You're almost using your peripheral vision a bit or just glancing a tiny bit.
That's one important point to understand why it's also helpful. You can see the defender much more, especially in your peripheral vision.
Yeah, go. Good. And you're already side on, yeah? So it's way easier. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna practice some stuff like that. Sideways, he goes that way, he spins back out. Super simple like that, right? Yeah. But imagine if Hazard touches the ball here. He's gonna more curve his run here, right? Touches the ball inside, he comes here. Outside chop. And what I want you to notice with his escape touch, you see how he's not chopping it down the pitch? He chops the ball that way. Do you know why that might be? From the trailing leg. So you'll see this in receiving all the time now. You won't look at receiving the same. So if you go behind me again. So let's say I do, so you've come, I've done this. You're coming here. I've gone 1, 2. If I now do this, Can you see the recovering defender can do that?
For example, when she tried something similar, touching it here with a Frankie run over body feint, her escape touch is too little, so the defender pokes it away. Now, this is an interesting thing when coaching any skill / receiving skill. Not only do you need to break down the skill itself and what to keep in mind, etc., but also the escape touch after the skill. That's still part of the skill. You can do a skill 100% perfect, but if you don't get your escape touch right, for example, a certain angle that it needs to be on, or the timing of it isn't right for that specific scenario, you'll have a really high chance of losing the ball. Because it's interesting, I see a lot of players' clips and they're doing everything right apart from that last escape touch. So then when you become aware of how important your escape touch is, you can fix so much things in your game so fast because it's just a simple tweak.
Yeah. But then if I come here and then you'll come in, 1, 2, if I come here and then here, I've generated that space like that detail. You'll see Hazard do it all the time as well.
For example, Hazard's escape touch here, it's horizontal towards the throwing line. We see if he tried to advance up the pitch fast with a sharper, shorter touch, the trailing leg gets the ball much easier, just like what happened to Alex.
So here, good, well done.
So now we're starting the process of replicating this turn, not only from a mechanical perspective, but deeply understanding why this turn works and how the defender thinks.
Nice, well done. If you're behind me, okay, if I do this, I'm going to do it 2 slightly different ways. If I go like this, come behind me. 1, 2, that's 1. Notice how I was square, yeah? Second, go behind me. Okay, if I do this, come. Which is more effective? Yeah, second one. Second one's more effective because my body shape, a lot of receiving, you're just baiting a fake pass, okay? So you've come here, your wingers may be here or they've made a run. Yeah. So you could potentially bait that pass.
As we see, Messi here baits this fake pass, which fools the defender into running too much around this way.
So you could potentially bait that pass for the fullback. Now I'm stood like this. Doesn't look like I'm going there now. No. Yeah? You're coming here, then it's 1, 2, and it's just that here, and then go.
So here we're just covering the importance of your body position to bait a defender, to press round one way. Comparing being stood square facing your own goal versus facing out wide facing the player you're baiting to pass to. Just on this note though, especially when your backwards touch is diagonally backwards, you can still spin the defender sometimes without turning side on, as the touch alone a lot of the times will bring the defender around that way. But for the ultimate bait, you want to use everything you've got, and your body position is a massive way of helping to fool the defender.
But if you're square, if you're like this, here, it doesn't even look like I'm going to pass it there, so you'll slow down a little bit as well. Yeah. But if I'm like this, I'm literally inviting you to go. Yeah. And then it's like that, yeah?
Now I want to show you another in-clip game from Alex that made me want to do this specific drill. You'll see all of the same principles in play that we've just covered. So we have the centre-back on the ball and the midfielder dropping deep, bringing her marker with her, opening up space for Alex to receive the feet with a long ball. A good first touch, a diagonally backwards touch, and a good switch of play. But look at the principle we spoke about. This diagonally backwards touch brought the defender more around this way. Now a potential fake pass and spin back this way could be on. Of course, something you don't want to do all the time, but learning how to mix up your game will make you an elite player.
Yeah. Perfect. Perfect, really good.
Getting low as well.
Yes, yes.
I'm like a robot in the game where I'm literally just like bad touch and then I'm upright. And
yeah, yes, you'll see Hazard and Messi, they're always down as well like this, yeah? But it's a lot of the time it's because they're doing these little hops and all this sort of stuff as well. Yeah. Wait, square. Did you feel you were square?
Yeah.
What I want you to get in the habit of, have in your mind that you're actually doing a pass. Because you need to almost get your head up and everything. It needs to be like an act. So the best press resistant players do. So when you're touching the ball out here, your head isn't glued here, yeah? You're touching the ball out here, you're making it obvious your head's up, and your leg's even like this. and then you're coming back that way. Yeah?
It's all about the little details. For example, Messi's fake pass inside here, he's not mindlessly swinging his leg back. Even his foot is placed at an angle to perfectly mimic the inside of a foot pass. All these tiny cues the defender picks up on. The more real you make a skill look, the more successful you'll be.
Good, good. So with your hips as well, this is why we're also going to do the outside chop as well, which is, I've noticed, the skill that you need to start adding to your game. Here, 1, 2, my hips are still facing here, but can you do like that? 1, 2, like for ultimate disguise as well, right?
Trying to keep your hips facing roughly the same way for as long as possible helps keep more disguise. So now with all of these new things to think about, the angle of the backwards touch, all the elements of disguise, and the escape touch, as well as the mechanics of how your feet move when you're escaping to be as effective as possible, this means you'll need to slow it right down and just get a feel for it. Don't get frustrated with yourself. Even for pros, it can feel like you're malfunctioning, but it's just your brain processing new pieces of information and trying to piece it all together. So now we just do a few reps without nitpicking every little detail, as we will still see some components need work. But part of coaching is trying to pick one detail at a time, especially when you read a player may feel overwhelmed. And one of the main things I'm noticing is the escape touch being too small.
More this way though. Let's go more down the pitch with the ball still. That's much better, yeah, good. Good work, good work. Your flick is too small. So you come in here, you're going 1, 2, and you're doing that. And then you're doing this. But exactly, so you need to have this touch, 1, 2, that needs to be bigger. Now you need to go like that. And then you get in the ball instead, okay? So you need to go horizontal to then go forwards. Perfect, good touch. That's it, well done, very good. Very good. Nice, nice. Can you flick it even more horizontally in that right leg? Oh, very good. Let's go. Nice, good work.
So now she's really understanding the importance of that escape touch and even collecting the ball on the next stride with a stretch touch like this. Again, a huge pattern we see with the top players. Next, it's important you learn how to escape as efficiently as possible. This is something we worked on next.
Okay, relax. Just have a look at this clip.
This is how I like to operate, by filming and showing back live, so the player can see visually what I'm talking about. A lot of the time you can't actually feel when you're doing something wrong. It might feel amazing, and then when you look back at your own clip, you might see 1 or 2 things are completely off that you had no idea about. That's something to also keep in mind if you're doing your individual training. Try and film it if you can. So I've shown her back the previous clip with her foot mechanics when trying to advance after the turn. We see after she hooks it back, her right foot plants, then her left, followed by her right, and then a pusher.
So 1, 2, here, plant. Now look, that's what you're missing, is that.
Whereas now we see this foot pattern is more efficient, more so keeping the right foot in the air and springing off the left foot, then planting with the right and touching the ball away with the left. Now, this is the next thing I want to fix, how natural the hop deceleration looks, turning it more into a hop body feint. One of the best things you can do is fully isolate the movement and then try it again with the whole drill after.
1, 2, out. Trying to keep that trailing foot always close to the ball. 1, 2, out. 1, 2. 1, 2. Good. Good. Well done. Good. Moment, which is good because you can bait a fake pass. You're doing it like this. Your leg is up. But if you're in a situation where you need to react really fast, you'll see he does it and his foot is hovering right next to the ball. Also because it still looks like a pass as well, because he's with the inside of the foot. So I want you to do the same now, keeping your foot this close to the ball. 1, 2, here. 1, 2, here. Okay.
And another thing to keep in mind, If your foot is high and back like Alex's, it's not necessarily bad. It can even look more like a fake pass. But if you might need to react fast if you're in a really compact scenario, having your foot hovering right next to the ball helps you move it fast. Like Hazard's foot here is hovering next to the ball. Remember, the diagonally backwards touch itself is a cue. For the defender, you'll try and pass that way.
Good. Well done. Nice and close to the ball. Even closer. 1, 2. Nice. Good work. Now it's just the touch. Sometimes your touch is really little. But can we go 1, 2 and just that little scoop and try and get that weight every time. 1, 2, 3. You see how it's like pretty consistent? Like the actual weight of touch. Like I was professional.
Side note on that point, I actually signed Alex for my team when I was a head coach of a Lithuanian top division club, maybe like 2 years back. So I just had to retire from professional football at 24, playing pro in England. Due to a heart defect, which I'm still yet to tell the story on, I reckon when we hit 100k subscribers, that's when I'm gonna tell everything. And the whole story is absolutely mental, believe me. But anyways, yeah, I just had to retire. And roughly about the same time, I started chasing my potential, where I started my own individual studies on the game. And I started coaching 7-year-olds at the club. And then promotion after promotion, only 6 months later, I was the assistant head coach of the first team. Halfway through the season, the head coach gets sacked. Then I was appointed head coach, completely chucked in the deep end, but I backed myself. Then that transfer window, I was speaking to a bunch of agents, and then someone passed me Alex's clips. We had a call, and then she moved from England to Lithuania. So she's seen the full journey of me transitioning from a player to a coach. Then shortly after, chasing my potential grew to the point where I could do it full time, where our primary focus now is trying to rewrite and improve the world of player development. Through stuff like observational studies, I'm bringing this to players and coaches via videos like this, training in person, video analysis for players, and of course, all of our massive programs online, which is about 90% of our daily work. And you can find a link to all of those in the description below. Just before we get back into it, on that point actually, our last video I think is around nearly 2 months maybe, and that's all because of our latest program that we've just brought out. So if you're a winger, definitely check this out, or at least watch the video on the landing page to see what this is all about. I assumed when going into this it would be about an hour long, something like that. Turned out I was horribly wrong, hence why it's took so long to put a YouTube video out, and it's around 5 hours long now. Tons of information will absolutely change your game. This stuff isn't coached anywhere, believe me, and we're now working on all the other positions as well.
That's good. 1, 2. Oh, that was very good. 1, 2. Nice. Little breather. Then we're going to do one more time with this receiving, then we'll move on to something else. And imagine if you know every single receiving skill in this detail, the psychology that I need to fake a pass there, I need to get around the ball, and the touch needs to be horizontal because of the stretching leg. So there's a rule to it all. Like fully mapping the whole world of football is crazy.
I actually caught a convo on camera with me and Alex talking, and it's actually great because it showed you firsthand, and it also showed me firsthand, because these players were the first players that I could do the chasing my potential work with, and it just shows the impact that these small little tweaks can have. Basically, it was a rest day. I set up like a mini football golf tournament, so loads of different stations, and then it got to the point where I'd done quite a hard one and there was just a massive line forming and nobody could make it. And at around this time, I was halfway through making this. A big premise in here is that I found how your standing foot affects massively your hip placement, which then affects the trajectory of the ball.
It's crazy.
Like on a football goal, like a Ernest.
Oh yeah.
It's like this foot here, and like you said it to one person, and the next, like they got it in, then the next person got it in.
Yeah.
The next person, and we're like, oh my God.
In that time, that's when I was analysing the how the angle of your plant foot affects the trajectory of the ball and your hip as well.
Yeah.
And then just when I seen you doing it, I was like, oh yeah, planting foot, bam. And then 3 of you went bam, bam, bam. It's crazy.
Football goals here.
Yeah. Good. Nice, Alex. Love it. Just get a bit more around the ball if you can. Good. Yes. That's the one.
Okay, the next thing I want to touch on, which is great for you strikers, is her general body position when up front as a striker. I noticed she was always square as the play was in front of her, so she never got any through balls.
From here. So you're here, you're waiting, then you're dropping in. Touching the ball here, they're running this way around, yeah? Okay, and also a lot of the time with your body position as well as a striker, especially if you're stood on the last line, A lot of the times you don't want to be square or even need to be square. If you turn sideways, other way, if you're like this, and it's let's say the play's moving, so just move around like that. Just follow the play. Yep. Good. If I'm here. Good. Okay, so that shows me as a midfielder, you're ready for a potential blindside run. You see? But if you were square, you're communicating to me that you're not ready for that or you don't even want it. But if you're side on, you can still also come to feet, right? So try and get in a bit more of a position where you're used to being a little bit more like that than square all game. Because you can also see the defender more. So now, if you want to communicate to me without even telling, with shouting because you'll give it away, what could you do? Yeah, you can do your movement. And also, if you wanted to do a blindside run, you can just point with your right arm. Yeah, and they can't see, because remember, they can't see you and the ball at the same time. You know what I mean? So already it's just so much easier, yeah? Yep. Good touch. Oh, very smooth.
So as we see, it's looking much better. Of course, much repetition is needed to get all the coaching points and to get it feeling natural. But the most important thing she will have got from this session is a different way of thinking about her hold-up play. So I hope this video helped you understand a bit more about press resistance and how the angle of your touch can make your life miles easier when you've got pressure from behind. Next time you're in training with a player pressing you from behind, try this and see how the defender reacts. But most of all, keep chasing your potential.